can put some small narrative somewhere that this is not going to relate to student debt. So that it becomes very
All
clear that
right.
even if institutions of higher learning as data providers or information providers to the credit bureau are able to do that, it must be clear that this is not in relation to student debt. And that is the conversation that is refusing to happen. Okay, so let's talk about what you're putting on the table, the EFF's Student Debt Relief Bill,
Oh,
what it proposes, how you envision this playing out. Look, there are two very important points that the Student Debt Relief Bill wants to achieve. The first thing is that it wants to have a provision which says if you are a student in South Africa and you have completed all your academic requirements, in other words, you have written all your tests, you have passed all your modules, you are done with school, irrespective of whether or not you owe the institution money, you must be given your certificate, you must be given your degree. Because the current practice is that if CISA owes UCT or Stellenbosch or Univen, 20,000, 15,000, I don't get my degree until I pay back that money. And the argument we're making to this government, which I believe is a common sense argument, is that, look, the very same degree that you're withholding from these students is the degree that they must be able to use to go and seek employment opportunities.
all
Let's
right.
for argument's sake, say
Let's try
they
this
really
out.
want to pay back this.
Good, 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 good. Uh, just testing the quality of the camera and testing whether the um, system is working properly for what we want to do now. Um, and ideally, what I would like uh, to achieve with this is a certain level of understanding of how Fowler works and the introduce the age regression therapy package to everyone who's interested in doing sessions with us, and they might be wondering about affordability, they might be wondering whether they're ready or not, or they might be wondering whether this is actually as helpful as the testimonials that are on our YouTube channel are saying, or that are on our social media are saying. And just to introduce myself, my name is Hakeem Liswalang from Fola Wellness and Cleaning. I am Fola Wellness and Healing. My name is Abdul Hakim Liswalang from Follow Wellness and Healing, and I am the founder of the company. But more than anything, I'm the lead hypnotherapist in the company as well. Um, okay, I see what's happening there. I see there's maybe like a little situation for us to remedy there. All right, do we move it to this? No, look at that. We are messing with the right. So are we good? We're good. Look at that. If we move closer, then the background blurs. And I guess I can actually move the cam a little closer to me. Um, that will then make it easy for me to, let's see, I don't know, that makes it slightly higher. Oh, hello there. Look at you. Handsome young man. All right. So I don't know whether you can see me clearly, but if you can, I just wanted to come on here and talk a little about what we offer in Fola Wellness and Healing in terms of our therapy packages. If you don't know, my name is Hakeem Anderson Solang. I am a hypnotherapist and founder of the company Fola. Fola, if you're not from South Africa or the SADC region or from the Nguni tribe, or Bakoni, Bakoni, Banguni, Banguni. The word Fola means to heal, means heal. It's a commanding word that means heal. And what we specialize in the company is trauma healing and personal optimization, self mastery for peak performance, particularly for peak performance. And our framework is relationships because this is where we are constantly experiencing ourselves and how we experience other people as well. It's how we experience ourselves, where we experience ourselves, and how we experience other people as well. And that framework is actually very helpful, and we came up with it in 2016 because we noticed that we, all of us, are literally the sum total of every relationship we've ever experienced ourselves in. And because of that, those relationships have impacted us in some ways very stifling, very hindering, and some ways very expansionist, expansive, expanding. So yes, that's the word. That's the English word. Some ways very expanding, and because of that, we strive to actually show every single one of our clients that healing is possible if you just give yourself the time um, to go for it, to trust the process, to trust processes that you might not have trusted before, or that are foreign to you. You know, you try new things and you gain new results. You either gain better results or you gain worse results. But with us, the track record proves itself almost every single time, that every single time we've worked with someone, they've seen considerate amount of transformation in their lives, in the positive. They've seen considerate amount of growth and change in how they feel, how they see themselves, how they think, how they function in all of their relationships. You know, we've done this with mothers, we've done this with parents, we've done this with fathers, we've done this with kids, we've done this with teenagers, we've done this with companies, we've done this with professionals, founders, entrepreneurs, in many varying different industries and sectors, and departments as well. And it has literally proven to be one of the most helpful um, techniques to use to actually get people to move forward with their lives and actually build something credible. You know, healing for us is a must as Africans. Healing is a must as men and women. Healing is a must as leaders and founders and fathers and mothers and brothers and sisters and sons as well, grandsons as well. It's it's pivotal because what it allows for you to do is it allows for you to see yourself outside the context of how you've experienced the people in your life, how you've experienced your loved ones before, and actually see their human struggle as well, and how that human struggle has impacted you, and or in that impact created your own human struggle as well. Unless you sit outside, I have a better phrasing for what I'm about to say, and I'll say it just after I say it. Until you choose to embody the type of perspective that is outside of what you've experienced before, you'll always be a prisoner of what you've experienced. A better way for me to prove it, to say this to you, is that you will never get to. I was saying this to a parent, right? Like you'll never give your child the childhood you never had if you're still suffering and experiencing it and living in it. You know, if you're still experiencing um, a visceral hatred for your parent or your dad or your mom, or still feeling a sense of abandonment or still feeling a sense of rejection and angry from that and frustrated with it, there is absolutely no way you're going to give your child the type of childhood that they deserve to have or that you never had. You know, like the latter is actually really harmful because if you give your child the life you never had, you're not raising your child, you're raising yourself. Your child is just a proxy for you to do that, you know, which indicates a lot of healing that needs to be done, a lot of unwiring that needs to be done, and a lot of a big push for embodiment that doesn't rest on the pain that you suffered, or that doesn't rest on the harm that impacted you when you were young. But in any case, relationships are very important in how we function. Relationships are very important in how far we get in life, you know? And so we focus on internal world in the first 5 sessions, and then your external world in the next 5 sessions. So internal world impacts external world and how you show up, just like your internal world has kind of impacted how you show up in that the things that have happened to you, you're trying for those things not to happen to you again. Your whole entire life has been you surviving the things that have happened to you, or avoiding the things that have happened to you, or resisting the things that have happened to you, or running away from the things that have happened to you. And you don't want them to happen again, and you've tried your best to, like, create a life that is like suitable for where you want to go, how you want to be. You've distanced yourself away from your parents, you've distanced yourself away from family, you've distanced yourself away from relationships you deem harmful. Internal world. That's how you feel about certain people, about certain things, about certain experiences, and you know, that's how you think as well. And in so doing, your external world is going to be you living far from home, working far from home, or feeling financially burdened by home. Um, only going home in December, and in December when you go home, and this is the South African SADC, Southern African reality, right? We work far from home, and when we come back home, we only come back home during the holidays, or when we take vacations with our families and all of that, right? When you do go back home, it's triggering, and it's toxic, and it's harmful, and it's debilitating, and it's energy draining, and it just like it reminds you of the reasons why you don't go home in the first place, right? And because it reminds you of the reasons why you don't go home in the first place, you regret going home, right? So you come back to your home, your own house that you now have, and when you come back to your own house, you for the first few months in a year, you're surviving what was said and what was done and what you were reminded of, and you're just fuming, right? Or you just want to help, but you don't know where to start. If you weren't triggered, you saw other people get triggered, and so you want to help. And because you want to help, it's draining because you don't know where to start. You don't know what to do. You don't have any tools, right? If you just joined us, I'm talking about trauma in the Black family, especially, and how we help our clients heal from it, right? This is actually a test. I'm not really supposed to be here for this long, but the topic is actually engaging, and it's delicious for me because I love doing what I do, so we're talking about healing trauma. We're talking about the Black family's experience of trauma, and not just the Black family's experience of trauma, but like the experience of trauma in the African context or in the world context, because we work with people abroad as well. And it's so the company is called Fola. Fola means heal. It's a commanding word that says heal, right? Because healed relationships are the best relationships. Personally, according to what I've experienced in my life, healed relationships or relationships that prioritize healing and always end up being fully optimized and becoming comprehensive. So what your engagement with people in those relationships is comprehensive, and it's rewarding, and it's fulfilling, and it's like it's safe landing. You're always going to have a safe net. You're not going to like second guess whether you can trust this person, because they are very consistent in the character they have. They're very consistent in who they are. They're very consistent in what they do as well. And their absence is literally felt with ripple effects, because they just that comprehensive of a human experience. And we love that. We want that. And that's what we produce of our clients. That's what we introduce our clients to. And our clients end up embodying that before session 10. And then the rest of the sessions are the follow-up sessions, other packages are always going to be optimization. But we have to start first with the first 5 internal sessions. And those first 5 internal sessions are your relationship with your parents and the house that you were raised in, right? Your relationship with your parents and the house that you were raised in is very important, because this is where you get the preset of yourself. Like the preset of your life is actually structured here. This is where you learn how to be who you are. The people who taught you how to be, who taught you how you are, who you are, and taught you to be where you are, or forced you to be where you are, or pushed you away to where you are. Very important for you to heal that relationship. Very important for you to nurture that relationship as well. If not with them, then internally in yourself, you have to heal that relationship, and you have to ensure that how you relate to the experiences in that initial house that you were raised in is not harmful, it's not toxic, it's not energy draining, it just doesn't zap you when you think about it. When you feel about it as well, it doesn't zap you. When you have to go home, it's not this daunting big mess that you're stuck in. Like that you're like it's not a conundrum that you have to figure out, that you have like this big wheel is turning inside yourself before you get home or before you go home, before you engage with your parents or your primary caregivers. A lot of harm happens here. A lot of traumatic introductions to trauma happen here in this relationship with your in those formative relationships and those primary caregiver relationships, and that's what we start with, and we have to start there because the home you were raised in and the conditions you were raised in create the conditions you function from in the home you occupy for the rest of your life, right? So if the conditions you live with and you function with in the home that you occupy your whole entire life, this relationship you have with yourself, with your body, with your mind, with your heart, with yourself, with your soul, with your spirit, with your being, if this is hampered, it's going to affect or draw in like bodies and like minds and like hearts, and I'll explain this further as we go along. So like we move on to the second relationship, and the second relationship is your relationship with authority, right? Now if you're black, you're raised in post-apartheid, post-colonial systems and countries and democracies, you're going to have a problem with authority. You're going to have a problem with um, being led. You're going to fight against that. And like I've seen it in myself, I've seen it in a lot of my clients, I've seen it in a lot of people, black, white, brown, yellow. I've seen it. I've seen it happen in so many ways, in so many instances, that we have a huge issue with authority. But I always say this, right? Like especially when we get to the topic of our relationship with authority, is it's going to be very difficult for you to embody authority if you have an issue with authority, if you have an unhealed issue with authority, if you have like things that you haven't addressed or that you haven't released or that you haven't overcome or that you haven't forgiven or that you haven't um let go of. um it's going to be very difficult for you to get to a point where you have a healthy relationship with leadership and leading. And so a lot of times we go into rescue our responsibility. A lot of times we're going to struggle with accountability. A lot of time we're going to struggle with not breaking our promises majorly to ourselves. And if we can't keep the promises we make to ourselves, we're going to be problematic when other people engage and attach to us. We're going to have very anxious attachment um, based relationships. Going to be like we're not going to trust so easily, and we're not going to help people build back the trust that they broke. We're going to be very difficult when it comes to that, which is very limiting, because if you love someone and someone loves you and they make a mess and you keep quiet about it, and you have these silent frustrations, or this a very a difficult thing that you guys have to discuss, and you just don't contribute to the discussion, or you don't contribute to the debate, or even the argument, or you just like argue to win. You end up noticing after the win that like you still haven't resolved the thing, so you don't want to come, even if you don't want to come to the party when it comes to resolving the thing, because you have an issue with the fact that I trusted you and you broke your word, just like everyone else that I trusted before who broke their word. So you broke your word, and I don't want to come to the party and sorting it out. You sort it out because you broke it, and gain my trust back, and it's going to be a big mountain, for them to climb, or for you to climb if you're the one in the wrong. you know Silent contracts get signed here, like you're mad at each other for things that you never agreed on together, that you never signed up to, but you signed these silent contracts with them. So it's a very difficult way of building a firm and beautiful, rigorous, like I said before, comprehensive relationship with leadership, with authority, with trusting your voice, trusting your mind, and trusting your heart and your nervous system to always be there. right? Which makes it difficult for you to like reset whenever something wrong happens. It just makes it very difficult. You take forever to forgive. You take forever to forgive yourself. You take forever to gain calm. You take forever to be in a state of peace. You know, I promise you, like session one, after we're done with session one, people are like a week later or a day later or even hours later, they text back or they call back or they email and they're like, what is this silence? What is this silence inside of me? I'm not panicked, I'm not anxious, I'm not arguing, I'm not argumentative with myself. It's like a inside of me. I'm like, that's inner peace. That's what inner peace feels like. That inner peace gives you clarity. That clarity gives you confidence when you've executed things the way that you promised yourself you're going to execute. That confidence gives you bravery. That bravery, it's like a compound effect. It's like a ripple effect of all these positive, beautiful things that happen to you when you sort through these relationships, right? Third relationship is your relationship with relationships, romantic relationships, that is. Tough one because a majority of the time when like lovers in the past, our exes have traumatized us or we've traumatized people, we've broken our word, we've broken loyalty, we break things in love, loving and being loved, in the arena of love, loving and being loved. We break things and things get broken in us, things get disappointed, we get let down, right? We get let down. I want to point you to a couple of things. Is your attraction, your magnet of attraction, your magnetization of partners when you haven't healed from trauma can only attract people that are traumatized. What did I say earlier? Like mind, like heart, like body, like history, demons dance well together. Our demons dance well together. We get along, so he understands me so well. I warn women. I warn women about this, and I warn men about this. That when you courting, in the first instances of you talking to a person, you would start having DMCs. You start having deep, meaningful conversations. You start engaging with them. Please do not lead with the bad stuff that has happened to you in your family, because you are conditioning the person who's listening or telling them about your tolerance levels. I'm okay with, but even if you say you're not okay with it, this is what I've gone through. And so when they let you down, and I don't want to trigger anyone, I don't want to make anyone feel bad. When you have had your heart broken, people have repeated what you told them was done to you previously. And that's the thing that set your nervous system, whoa, whoa. But I trusted you, I gave you this, and right? But all of these things happened, and I said, don't do this to me, and you went ahead and you did it anyway. Men or women. The thing you came in surviving is the thing that gets repeated. You can chat with me and tell me if I'm wrong. I'm always willing to be wrong, because if I'm wrong, there's a better way of explaining that. If I'm wrong, there's more for me to learn. If I'm wrong, then I might not have the insights that I think I have, and I might be just go in the comments and let me know if I'm right or wrong. When you have had your heart broken, you've had your heart broken by people you trusted, you gave your body to, you gave your time to, you gave your energy to, and you've told them not to do a certain thing, or that a certain thing was done to you, and they went ahead and they repeated it. Why? Go back to the initial conversations that you had. The thing that I warn people about: do not walk in that table, that sitting, that courting phase, that get to know each other phase. Even if your relationship matures and it's 20 years, do not lead with the inefficiencies you experienced, inefficiencies, inequalities, inadequacies you experienced with your family members or your formative lovers. Stop teaching people how to break your heart. This is not even a session. I'm just like, stop teaching people how to break your heart. Stop telling people where to go to break you again. Stop telling people where you're wounded the most. If anything, those things are going to be experienced in a relationship, and because you know them in depth, when it gets called out, you're able to pull yourself together. When you see yourself do certain things or move a certain way, you're able to pull yourself back and say, hey, pattern, loop, cycle. When you see them moving a certain way, you're able to say, I've seen this before. Before they even get to the point of triggering you, you're able to pick these things up. And when your intuition, your nervous system flares up and it starts, ba 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 ba, you're setting alerts up, don't ignore them. Don't ignore your intuition. Your body knows because it keeps the score. And that score is going to be kept until you learn to release it, right? 99% of what we do in romantic relationship sessions is it's not them that you have to forgive who did you bad. It's forgiving yourself for choosing them, for staying in that relationship that long, for not knowing what you needed to know, what you had to know, what you wanted to know about how dangerous or how untrustworthy or how disloyal that person is going to be. You can't tell the future, you can't predict the future. But when things happen in the present that are not congruent with the kind of future you want for yourself, when they happen there and you didn't anticipate it or you did anticipate it and you ignored it when the anticipation started happening, you have to forgive yourself really quickly. So you have to forgive yourself for not being able to forgive yourself really quickly in order for you to assess things outside of the experience, or having enough tools for you to do that, which is what we give in Fallout, which is what we educate our clients to actually embody after the healing process, right? So that's session 3. Session 3 is forgiving yourself for the exes you've kept in your life that you possibly even have on your phone book, your phone dial, because there's some reconciliation that you're waiting for, forgiveness that you want to give them, or an excuse and I'm sorry that you want to hear from them that is never coming, and I caution you to delete their numbers. If there's no prospect of things working out in the positive with them, if neither one of you are engaged in healing those wounds individually or together for a better relationship in the future, get them out of your phone. And get them out of your phone, delete them, block, whatever. Don't block, just delete the numbers, forget them, right? Forget them, erase them, get to know new people unromantically, platonically, get to know new people, get to go to better, beautiful, different, challenges that you choose, challenging environments, because you need better experiences of people. You need people to experience a dreamy version of you instead of the debilitated, hurt, pained, traumatized, angry, frustrated, resentful version of you. You need to stop experiencing that version of you personally. So the forgiveness element, like I said, 99% of forgiveness is letting it go. But you won't let it go until you start living outside of that. And that's in the regression, in the hypnotherapy sessions, in the somatic experiencing sessions, in the reframing sessions that we do. We're able to help our clients get to that point where they exist outside of all of those experiences. Because then you have a healthy perspective of what happened and what your input in it was from decision point, not feeling. Feeling is secondary. Feeling happens later than thinking, and thinking is a long process, right? So okay, cool. We move on to the fourth relationship. The fourth relationship is your relationship with yourself, which is the most important relationship, but the least important relationship. It's the least important relationship. Why is it the least important relationship? Because we were conditioned by this first relationship, the house that we were raised in, and the relationship with our parents, to prioritize everyone else before ourselves. And we're taught by our teachers, we're taught by our preachers, we're taught like everyone else's perspective of you currently matters more than your perspective of yourself to yourself, by yourself, as yourself, with yourself. Matters more. So that's why this relationship is the least important, but it should be the most important because it's the longest relationship you're going to have. It's the longest relationship you're going to have. And because it's the longest relationship you're going to have, it's the relationship that has to function way better than any other relationship you're going to have. It's a relationship you need to be enjoying way more than any relationship you're going to have. It's a relationship you need to be secure in way more than any other relationship can offer security. It's a relationship that sets the tone for every other relationship. That's how important it is. This relationship with yourself is a relationship with God. It's a relationship with creation. It's a relationship with animals. It's a relationship with money. It's a relationship with time. It's a relationship with wealth building or financial literacy or whatever that is. It's your relationship with children. It sets the tone for every other relationship you're going to have. So if it's not formidable, if you're not enjoying it, if you're high strung by it, if you're angry with it, if you're frustrated with it, if you're miserable because of it, priority number one is you. Investment number one is you. Time number one, time allocation number one is you. There's nobody else that matters more than you matter. Nobody. Nobody. I don't care who you love. I don't care who pays you. I don't care. I don't care what your preacher says, what your mother. I don't care. If this relationship with yourself is hampered, harmed, surviving, you're going to have a miserable life. You're going to have a miserable life because it's very important for you to not having a miserable life, for you to prioritize, being okay, because that's that much important. You have to be masterful in this relationship. You know what I mean? You have to be very masterful in this relationship because when you are, things fall in place without you even trying. Of the basis of what you embody, life is either difficult or life is easy. Life is doable. Even when challenges come, you're like, yeah, bet, I'm ready. Life is that doable. And it gets there, but you have to prioritize yourself. You know what I mean? You have to prioritize yourself. Number five, session number five, relationship number five is your relationship with your passion, with your purpose, with your power. Not proximity to other people's power or other powers, your power. I was going to say half of us, but a lot of us, over 90% of us, will never ever experience this in its fullest. But us living on purpose, in our purpose, us experiencing how powerful we are and how empowering we can be. We will never experience that. Us living passionately, off of our passions, over the things we're passionate about. Like that thing actually pays your bills. That thing actually like feeds you. That thing actually like invigorates you. We will hardly ever experience that. I'm almost out of time. We will hardly ever experience that because why? Our relationship with ourselves sucks. We have people we haven't forgiven, and we have never forgiven ourselves. We can't forgive ourselves. We have a very difficult relationship with authority, and we're still struggling with our inner child. So we'll never get to experience this as much as we're supposed to be experiencing it right now. Right now. This is not a later thing that should happen like when you're 40 or in your 50s or life starts at 40 or life starts at. No, now. Right now. These first five relationships are your internal relationships. They constitute your thoughts, how you think about yourself. They constitute your feelings, your emotions, how you feel about yourself. They constitute your nervous system, how your body feels whenever things happen or whenever you happen to things. They constitute your sicknesses, your maladies, your depression, your all these symptoms of trauma. These first five relationships are the constitutes of all of that. I tell black women especially all the time that stop stressing. Find ways to not stress. Find things that make you unstressed because stress is what creates tumors. Stress is what creates fibroids. Stress is what creates PCOS. So you need to find ways, find tools, find methods, find hacks, find habits that help you regulate, that help you remain centered or get to center fast. Our company just happens to do all of those things. We happen to practice all of those things. We happen to exist exist practicing all of those things personally and as a company. Together as a company and individually with our families, we practice these things because we know that all of those factors, all of those hacks, all of those habits make you comprehensive wherever you are. First five. First five. I could go to the next five, and I want to go to the next five, but I was just testing if this thing is actually going to go live, and it did, and I'm proud that it did, because then I can do this almost every week if I want to, or if you guys want to. And if you do want to, please leave a comment, or like and subscribe, because I do want to grow the channel. And I want to spread as much of this knowledge and insights and research that we have in the company. I want to spread it as much as I possibly can, because I think an educated decision to heal is the best decision you can make. And people don't choose healing, and people don't choose to progress to what they don't know because they just don't know. So I want to do this. So please like, comment, subscribe, share this if you want to share it as well. I don't know if I'm going to have the option to trim it up. I hope so. I hope I have the option of trimming it up and then giving it to you guys. But I want to do that. First five relationships, internal relationships, how you book the session with us is I'll do I'll put everything in the description. You'll find the link in the description to book a discovery call. But consider this to be the discovery call. Actually, our sessions are an hour long. We give a bleed window to an hour and 30 minutes for every session that we do. There are two parts. The first part is going to be talk therapy. The next part is going to be hypnotherapy or somatic experiencing, depending on what we need to do. Then after the regression of the hypnotherapy or the somatic experiencing, you're going to walk away from the session lighter. We are a results-based therapy company. We don't do talk only. We don't just talk shop. We don't just talk about the solutions. We actually help you overcome the malady, or we help you overcome the symptom. And depression, anxiety, those things get healed. 3 sessions, 4 or 5 sessions, you'll be okay. Smoking cessation, weight loss, peak performance, all of that get achieved in all of these sessions that we do. First 5 and the following 5, and all the continued packages as well. After every session, you're going to have homework. All you have to do is literally follow the link, book the session. Once you book the session, we send you the invoice. The invoice is 3,680 Rand. That should be $399 or something, close to $400 basically. Man, that's basically that. You get your onboarding sequences, your onboarding packages sent to you as well, and that's that on that. I'm gonna do this again. I want to do this again, where I go as comprehensive as I possibly can in every single relationship, and what symptoms start showing up when someone hasn't healed that relationship, or what that relationship is particularly, so that when you come to the sessions, you come informed. You know what I mean? You come informed. You know what the sequence is of the sessions. You come in before we even get to session 5. We might have actually done away with the thing that you're struggling with the most, or set up a peak performance, a peak way of performing or showing up in your own life and in other ways as well. We coach. You're always going to have us on call, either via WhatsApp or via mail. You're always going to have us on call, and we respond, and we're very, like I said, we're very comprehensive. So it's that psycho education that we give to all of our clients, and just conversation sometimes when people just want to troubleshoot something and they just want to get it out, or use us as a bouncing board for ideas, or where they are. You can easily do that with us. Man, I can't wait for you to experience the other side of the things you're struggling with right now. whether it be relationships that are difficult, whether it be like trauma and its symptoms and all of that, performance, confidence, self-assurance. Come, make the decision. Like I said, your relationship with yourself, make that decision. Be the first person to invest in you and reap the benefits of that, because the ROI is literally immediate. It's immediate. If you have any questions on hypnotherapy, or what other modalities we use as well, or you have any concerns with hypnotherapy, please do not waste time and let me know, man. Let me know. I'd love to help. I'd love to answer and get you where you need to be. My love to you always. The name is Hakeem Anderson Esolan from Fola Polyclinic, and I can't wait to be your therapist. I'll see you in session soon. Peace.